TV2 Sports Talk, our focus this week is on Claymont Mustang Wrestling. We'll be talking with Mustang head coach Eric Tokinen, as well as Claymont seniors Justice Avery, Tyler Warner, and Lane Peters. And when you look at high school sports in Tuscarawas County, really over the last quarter of a century, there have been three that have had big-time success at the state level: Garaway Boys Golf, Strasburg Softball, and Claymont Mustang Wrestling, a program that began in the late 1970s under then head coach Mel Peters and certainly has grown over the decades to a state power with now head coach Eric Tokinen. We'll explore that and more as this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk continues here on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know. I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, invincible. We are who we are.
Welcome back to TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm Bill Morgan, this week talking about the success of Claymont Wrestling with the new wrestling season underway, and happy to be joined by the patriarch of the Claymont Wrestling family. He is Eric Tokinen, coach, and we talk about the success this program has had. Really, it's incredible, and we can talk about all different kinds of programs here in Tuscarawas County in this part of the state, but your program, one of the premier in any sport at any high school in this part of the state of Ohio. How did it all begin?
My first year here was 1979, and I was an assistant coach here with Mel Peters as the head coach for 4 years. And then it went into the 80s, and we did well. I mean, we were doing fine, but nothing at state. I remember in 85, I had 8 kids go to state. In 83 was my first year as head coach. 85, I had 8 kids go to state. Nothing happened. Well, it just seemed as though our schedule wasn't strong enough and we weren't doing the right thing. So I kind of doubled up on the practices and the work in the off season and increased the schedule. Our numbers dropped at first. We were down to 16 wrestlers at one point, which is really low for us. But we had a great group of kids that stuck with it, believed in it. In 92, we won the state title, and after that, we've just been in the top. We've been 18 times since 90. I believe 1991. Yeah, 91. We've been 18 times in the top 10 in state.
Coach, when you talk about that kind of long-term success, there's a lot of schools and a lot of different sports that 1 or 2 years they'll go to the state, they might finish a state runner-up, they might qualify the next year. But to have long-term success, what do you attribute that to?
You just try to improve your program each year. I think I made it. It was almost like a game to me. To add on something extra each year to the program, do extra things. We started wrestling freestyle. Like I said, in the late 90s, 80s and 90s, and since then we went to Cleveland and worked out with all kinds of teams in the off season. Went to camps, had our own camp, and it's just progressed where now I have the kids, my former wrestlers' kids are now wrestling for me now. So it's just a tradition that's, I guess, continuity. I'm a big Browns fan. We change coaches every 2 years, and that I think the continuity All my assistant coaches wrestled for me in high school, and we're all on the same page. We just try to improve each year the program and improve the schedule. And in 2014, I think was a highlight when we were top 20 in the nation, and state runner-ups only to the national champs.
Claymont head coach Eric Tokinen on TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable. Coach, from the time you took over this program, and folks are wondering, we're going to talk about this year's team coming up in just a couple of minutes, but from the time you took over the program, what has the biggest difference, the biggest changes maybe at the competitive level of high school wrestling been over the last quarter of a century?
The technique has increased greatly, Bill. I mean, it's very technical now. If you watch collegiate wrestlers in the 80s, they would look almost like junior high-ish the way they wrestle. The technique has become extremely important. Wrestling a ton of matches in the off-season to develop the quickness and speed that you need. You know, speed kills in any sport, and wrestling's the same. I would say that's the number one thing, the speed of the matches. I think the sport itself has improved each year to increase scoring and interest, and it makes for more excitement, and of course it makes for more challenges as a wrestler. Anytime you're moving at a high rate of speed, you got to know what you're doing to keep your body under control. And that would be the biggest difference. Other than that, I think the kids are the same, the parents are the same. Social media you don't hide anything anymore. You can't say that, you know, you got somebody coming into the lineup here or there, or somebody out of the lineup. They know it. The kids know it before the coaches know it. So that's probably the only thing that's really been different over the years.
Claymont's Eric Tokinen as we talk Mustang Wrestling. Coach, for the fans who are maybe more casual high school wrestling fans, tell them about the evolution over the last couple of years of the team state championship that comes before what you guys do in March.
We had the last 6 years. We've had a great run, actually, the last 6 years, Bill. We had 4 state runner-up teams. Of course, we've had a bunch of conference, sectional, and district titles with that. And now the state duels is a new thing that we've been involved with the last 3 years. The Ohio High School Athletic Association. There's only 3 divisions in wrestling, so it's very competitive, very tough. But they actually gave us a chance to win 2 state titles. You had the opportunity in a season to win 2 state titles, either one as at the dual meet state championships, or 2 in the individual tournament with the points collected as a team. So that's better. I mean, it's still tough, but the last 3 years we've been state runner-ups in the state duels. Which says a lot for our team. You know, we're not a program that has people move in. You know, people don't want to talk about that, but we have our own kids, our own community pride, and you can see it in our crowds and the interest in the town. So I would say that's the biggest thing that we've had the last few years, and hopefully we can continue it.
Coach, as we wrap up this part of our conversation, talk to us about the youth wrestling here at Claymont in terms of getting young guys interested before they jump into the middle school ranks and eventually the varsity ranks into doing what you guys want it done the Mustang way.
Right. You know, we have a nice youth program and a very good junior high program, and those feed into our varsity. We try to get the right people running those programs because that's important. You know, with the little ones, I taught elementary phys ed for 20 years here at Claymont, and you know the little ones will do almost anything for you. You know, so but you have to give them time to have fun, to enjoy the sport, not make it so critical or important at that age. And as they get older, then the importance becomes more important at junior high level. And of course, your ultimate goal should be at the high school level, winning a state title in high school wrestling. It's nice to be, win at the junior high states, and it's nice to win at the elementary states. But the bottom line is you want to win at that upper level, the high school level.
Coming up, as this week's show continues, we'll talk with some of the wrestlers making the Mustangs go in 2015, including 3-time defending state champion Tyler Warner. That's when TV2 Sports Talk rolls on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
TV2 Sports Talk this week, talking Claymont Mustang Wrestling. Got done with a chat with head coach Eric Token, and happy to be joined now by certainly one of the key components on this 2015 team, senior Tyler Warner. Tyler, you're a three-time state champion, obviously locked in on getting number 4 this year. What does Coach talk to you about in terms of, hey, this is what I want to see you do this year in terms of growing your game out on the mat?
You know, he's always on me to work hard and to reach my goals, and you know, it's just something that I've always looked forward to doing, and you know, Coach Toke knows what he's talking about, and you know, we got the other coaches in here and pushing me to do what they're asking, and you know, just listening to him, you know what I mean.
I guess tell us about wrestling for you from the time you first started to step out onto the mats. A lot of young guys will be out there chugging the football around, playing baseball. Obviously, your sport has been wrestling. How did you discover it?
I used to stay up until my parents and brothers went to bed, and you know, they wrestled before me. I used to find a singlet, and I used to put the singlet on, and you know, always like look down on myself and be like, this is awesome. And I'd stay up throughout the night with my singlet on and just run around the house as a little boy and fall asleep with my singlet on, you know, and I don't know, I've been around wrestling all my life, and, you know, going to the home wrestling matches as a young boy and watching the high schoolers, junior high, and watching them compete just, you know, made me want to do it more, and watching my brothers do it and getting beat up on by my brothers, and just, you know, my dad's a great coach, so he started a program, and, you know, we just went to that program, and he built the program up and just got me here.
3-time state champion Tyler Warner. Doesn't happen too often. As we'll hear Coach Token and talk about in a couple of minutes, the number of wrestlers in the state of Ohio history who have ever won 4 state championships, less than 30. So, and that's dating back to the 1930s. So it's a tremendous accomplishment, one that Tyler has in the offing for him come March. Tell us about your future. Obviously, you're locked in on your senior year here at Claymont. What are you going to do collegiately?
Yeah, I signed a Wheeling Jesuit to wrestle. They're going to have me come in at a 33, 41-pounder, and hoping to get down there and, you know, win national title as a team and individual and start my life.
When you talk about having success, Tyler, at that level, what are the guys from here at Claymont, or guys that you may know in the wrestling world, what do they say, hey, here's the big jump when you get to college? Are there 1 or 2 things? Does it sort of depend on which guy you're talking to?
No, not really. You know, I got like my brother going to college there, so I have my brother there, and then I got Cody Bircher. You know, they're always telling me don't stay around here. You know, go to college, get a degree, and, you know, have a good life, and it's pretty much what I get every day.
Tyler Warner, Claymont Mustang senior, getting ready to head into the heart of his 2015 wrestling season. Tyler, certainly thanks for your time. Best of luck all season long.
Thank you.
Coming up as TV2 Sports Talk continues, we'll continue to talk Claymont Wrestling. Lane Peters and Justice Avery, it's all on the way on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
Claymont Mustang Wrestling, our focus on TV2 Sports Talk this week. Lane Peters, one of the seniors, helping to lead this team. And Lane, when we talk about your success here at Claymont, really it's a family thing, not only with your generation, but going back to your father and your uncles. I guess sort of break down the Claymont family tree in terms of how many of your uncles and your dad have wrestled here at Claymont.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to my grandpa Mel, and he was, as far as I know, the first head coach here, and he raised his sons to be wrestlers, and then they raised their sons to be wrestlers, and it's been a living tradition here, and I've been happy to be a part of it.
When you talk about having success in that kind of a situation, I think sometimes people would think that's a tremendous pressure with your grandfather starting the program, your dad and his brothers having great success, and the next generation having success. Do you view something like that as pressure or a challenge?
Honestly, it motivates me. I mean, it inspires me that 3 of my uncles have been state finalists, and it makes me want to be there and be a state champion. So, I mean, while some people might say it's pressure, I let it motivate me.
I guess tell us a little bit about what you feel the strength of your game is on the mat in terms of what allows you to win, what allows you to become a state placer.
I think in anything, especially in wrestling, your motive and your why as to why you do something is a big part of your success. And to me, I mean, I think this is the most natural sport on the face of the earth. I mean, it's one man against another, and I think it's a chance to prove what you really stand for in your faith and what motivates you, like I said, and why you're going to reach your goals. So I think that is my strength, is my why, my motive, and so I think that's why I've had success in the past.
Lane Peters, our guest, as we talk TV2 Sports Talk and Claymont Wrestling here on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. Lane, let's look to the future with you. Being a senior, obviously, spring will be here before you know. That sounds strange to say it at this time of the year, but you'll graduate. After you graduate from Claymont, what lies ahead for you?
I'll be headed to Army West Point to wrestle in college, and I'm excited to spend my years there. I'll wrestle right now 133 starting out, and then I'll be a cadet there, so I'll have my academics, obviously, and I plan on majoring in defense and strategic studies, and then I'll serve my time in the Army, and right now I plan to retire in the Army.
I guess tell us a little bit about, you were sharing before we began today that I said, what are you going to do with that when you get done with your service time? And as a part of the service time, you said you've got an interest in special ops.
Right, yeah. So like 2 to 3 years into my service to the Army, I'll have the opportunity to go to Special Forces Selection School, and I would like to do that and see what I'm capable of and see if I could be part of the elite and the most elite of the elite.
Lane Peters, our guest. Claymont Mustang Wrestling, our focus on TV2 Sports Talk. Lane, we talk about you being a state placer. What do you have to do better this year? Forget about state placing to be a state champion.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, to me, it won't be a success for me in high school until I get that state title. And I think what separates me this year as compared to the years past is I've done a lot of mindset training. And physically, you know, your body, it can do what it has done in the past. And I think where I need to make up the ground is in my mindset aspect.
Lane, we appreciate your time. Best of luck all year long.
Thank you, you too.
Claymont High School senior Lane Peters, our guest, and as our Mustang Wrestling focus continues this week, we'll talk with another one of the Mustang captains, Justice Avery. That's next on TV2 Sports Talk.
We're always looking for better ways to do things. But with some banks, better for them isn't always better for you.
You've reached Medibank. Press 1 to hear your current balance. Press 2 to hear these options again.
Introducing free Kasasa checking. When you do stuff for us, like swipe your debit card or get e-statements, we make it even better for you with cash back and refunds on ATM fees. Kasasa. carried locally at First Federal Community Bank. Do you, Kasasa?
Wrestling, our focus this week on TV2 Sports Talk with Claymont Mustang Wrestling. Happy to be joined by another senior Justice Avery. And Justice, as you guys get really ready to head into the heart of your season, tell us about your career here at Claymont, the things that have gone well for you and the areas you want to get better as you head into your senior campaign.
I've wrestled 152 all 4 years of high school, so pretty seasoned there, and I just got to work better to get better on my feet and hopefully do big things at the state tournament this year.
Tell us a little bit about the team state duels. Obviously, when you talk about getting to March and getting to Columbus, that's individual. What's it like when you guys are wrestling as a team for that state duel championship?
There's just no better adrenaline rush than wrestling knowing it's for your team and not for you. The state duels it's a crazy, surreal feeling, to be honest, and knowing that you're wrestling for your whole team and just not for yourself, it's just a good feeling.
Justice Avery, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable. Justice, what's the most important thing that you or the other Claymont wrestlers do in the off season to make sure you're ready when the season gets here?
It's just all getting time on the mats and perfecting the little things, and that just comes with time wrestling, and that's what people don't understand. They think you got to wrestle a lot and a lot and a lot. It's just little things you got to perfect. So just spending time on the mats is it.
When we were talking with Lane Peters a few minutes ago, of course, his family has a long heritage, if you will, here in Claymont Wrestling. Your older brother, Drew, wrestled here. How much wrestling went on in the Avery household? And I'm not talking about on the mats, but you guys jacking around with each other when you were younger.
He's the reason where I am today. I mean, it's just every goal he set is the goal I want to beat, and that's what I'm striving to do. He plays 7th at the state tournament, and I look to do a lot better than that, and that's what I feed off of doing better than him.
Justice Avery, our guest, as Claymont Mustang Wrestling is our focus on DMG Channel 2 Sports Talk this week. Justice, let's look ahead to the future. We sort of did similar things with Tyler Warner and with Lane Peters. What's ahead for you when you graduate from Mustang Country?
To be a Wheeling Jesuit Cardinal and be on the wrestling team there, studying early childhood education, and be a teacher one day.
So now, if you become a teacher, any idea, what do you want to teach? Do you know the subject yet? Is that something you'll worry about when the time comes?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Now, when you talk about teaching, do you want to coach?
Yeah, I can see myself coaching.
Now, what do you think, when you flip the coin from being Justice Avery, the wrestler, to maybe, let's go 7 years down the road, you're Justice Avery, the coach. What are the bigger challenges you're going to face as a coach and maybe Coach Token Company face every day in dealing with guys like you in practice?
Just keeping guys motivated. I mean, some guys don't want to be here, and those are the guys that peter out. So you just got to keep everyone motivated.
Talking Claymont Mustang Wrestling on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. Justice, we appreciate your time. Best of luck in your senior year.
Thank you.
Coming up, as this week's show continues, we'll go back to talking with Claymont head coach Eric Tokinen as Coach breaks down individually his team this year as they get ready to step into the heart of the 2015 wrestling campaign on DMG Channel 2. This is Time Warner Cable.
Just wanting to be a police officer, I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
Claymont Mustang Wrestling, our focus on TV2 Sports Talk this week on DMG Channel 2. Back to talking with Mustang Wrestling coach Eric Tokinen. Coach, we sort of explored the history of the program during the first part of our talk. Tell us a little bit about this year's team in specific, your strengths.
Well, of course, we start out with Tyler Warner, our 3-time state champion, And we just come from a national tournament where he finished 7th. Had a real tough time, lost a couple overtime matches, but again, it was the #1 tournament in the nation, so you're going to meet good kids there, and that's what we need, great competition. Lane Peters, another one of our captains that is a 2-time state placer, and he's looking to win the state title this year. He's been working extremely hard, and then Justice Avery, our 3rd captain that you'll see next, is a state qualifier. Again, one of the kids I think that can be right there on the podium at the end of the year. We have a nucleus of. We kind of run into a little bit of problem where we have a bunch up in the middle. Our kids are not spread out as much as they should be. Weight-wise, Billy, sometimes your kids grow. Our 106-pounder is wrestling at 140 now, 145. So, they just have growth spurts, and we don't like to cut a lot of weight at Claymont. We like to have them fresh and ready to go, and to enjoy the sport, and to be able to perform in that 3rd period or overtime period and score. So it's a situation which we got to work on. We're going to work on right now, but it is only December. It's a long way to March. I always said wrestling and basketball are kind of a marathon. You gotta kind of pace yourself. It's 5 months, and that's how we look at it. It's early. We want to get better. We got Walsh Jesuit this weekend, which is going to be a real challenge to us. But on a whole, I feel real good about this team this year.
Coach, talk to us in specific about Tyler Warner. We mentioned 3-time defending state champion, an opportunity to do something that not very many guys have ever done in the state of Ohio. It's been done before, but to be a 4-time state champion, clearly a rarity.
Right. There's only been 20-some kids in the history of Ohio wrestling since 1938 to win 4 state titles. So Tyler's got a tough challenge ahead of him, but he's a great kid, hard worker, a great leader on the team. And I always said he's the type of kid that you could look over the wrestling room and his attitude and his work habits, you would not know that he was a 4-time state champion as far as attitude is concerned. He's jumping in there with everybody, working hard with everybody. When the wrestling starts live, you can kind of notice who the 3-time state champion is, hopefully 4-time. And he's just a great kid with a lot of work ethic, and does a lot of wrestling in the off season, and we're very proud of him.
Coach, in addition to talking about Tyler and Lane and Justice, I know you have some other strong wrestlers. Tell us a little bit about them.
We in our middleweights, we're kind of young into lighter weights. We have a couple of freshmen to start off, but in the middleweights, we have Chandler Golick, who was a 2-time state qualifier for us. He's a junior. Max Peters, who went to state for us last year as a sophomore. Hunter Miles, he's a senior that we're counting on his experience at that level. And Solomon Peters is right in there, another junior. These guys haven't made it to state yet, but they're plugging along, and expectations are high this year. Taryn Rouse back, just like I talked about, Justice Avery's in there. And then we get kind of young in the upper weights with Cole Abio and Lyle Clark. They're a freshman and a sophomore who are starting at 195 and 220. And then at heavyweight, we got Jared Abio, who was a big component of us last year making it to the state duels. He won an overtime match against Cantfield to send us to the state tournament for the 3rd time in a row at the duel. So the dual meet state championships have went on for 3 years, and we've qualified all 3 years, 2 times state placers, and last year we made it to the semifinals. So I'm really proud of that fact, because that involves the whole team together. People say it's an individual sport, but really in the duels, it's a team sport. Every point counts. You may have to stay off your back. You may have to get that decision. You may have to get that pin. And it all depends on your performance for the other guys.
Eric Tokinen, the Claymont head wrestling coach, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk this week on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. Coach, whether it's the state duels, whether it's the individuals in March, what are the biggest areas of growth? And I know it's really going to vary from wrestler to wrestler, but what are the biggest areas of growth you're going to have to see from your guys to have legitimate opportunities to not just get to state, but to win state crowns like you want to?
Well, we have... like I said, we have Uniontown Lake, Walsh is in this next 7-day span, 2 very top-level Division I schools. We're going to head into Medina after Christmas. We got Alliance Top Gun, and then we'll be into the state duels. So we have, and plus our local rivals, the New Philadelphia and so forth. So, we have a tough schedule ahead of us. I think that prepares us. I have a lot on film to see. My coaches have a lot to see, and we have a lot to work on like we did last night.
Coach, certainly we appreciate your time. Best of luck in the coming weeks and all season long.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate the coverage.
It is Claymont Wrestling coach Eric Tokinen. Our focus this week has been on Mustang Wrestling. Be sure to keep your eye on TV2 Sports Talk for Mustang Wrestling action, the best in local high school basketball play-by-play, and more. It's all here on your television home for high school sports in the Valley, TV2 on Time Warner Cable.